Hello. Well, this is as near to 12ish as I could get today, and I hope that you are feeling not too bad. And I was just thinking about so many people suffering from stress at this time, and stress itself can cause us to feel unwell. So it's sort of vicious circle, really, because the hormones that are released by stress responses can actually lead us to becoming a little bit overweight because we feel perhaps we want to eat more to relieve that feeling of stress, or we may go the other way and not eat because it's telling us not to eat. So our mind is very much a victim, if you like, of our hormones, and we have to live in our bodies. Now, what do we do usually when we feel stressed and anxious? If we can, we get out and do some exercise, or we might tidy the room, or do the washing up even. Just anything physical to sort of relieve that terrible tension that you get when you feel upset and stressed. And at this time, of course, in the world, everybody is under that cosh of feeling stressed and anxious. And it's just that some people don't show it outwardly as much as others, but we all feel those awful, horrible feelings inside when we hear bad news, when we think of our loved ones, when we worry about our children or our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, some of us who are old enough. And those who are young are often anxious, feeling that perhaps they won't get to have children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren because of this awful virus that's going the rounds at the moment. We do know that the scientists are working hard to find antidotes and vaccines and medical cures for this terrible situation. And we also know that the human race has come through many a plague before this. But nevertheless, we all feel a certain amount of stress and anxiety, and I know that some people are taking this very badly, and the worry of it all. So I thought, well, yes, what I used to do, and I know that millions of others who have had the opportunity do, is at times of stress we go out and do our exercise, our chosen sport. Some of us may never have had that opportunity, but those of us who have know that it's a fine antidote to anxiety, just to lose oneself in the moment physically. And I was relating that, of course, to the spiritual aspect of life, as you think I would. And in fact, many years ago, when I was a skating coach for South Africa, some of my elite skaters actually had a special training sessions with me where we used meditation in order to improve our performance, and it actually did work. And I wrote a paper on it, and I used the experiment that I'd done, and I actually was poo-pooed about it because I said this is spiritualist science and it works, and I actually had times to prove it. However, I gave that paper to a physiology professor at Haifa University, and I hope that they made good use of it. I know that these days lots of people use such methods, visualization they call it. But however, what we could do today, I thought, now you'll see that I have got this this top on. Now, if you look there, you'll see it's the badge, and it says Streatham Strikers, and that was the first ever women's ice hockey team in this country, the first ever women's ice hockey club, and I played for that. And the girls gave me this wonderful jacket with this wonderful logo on it. And so I'm wearing that. I'm not just wearing it to show off or to make myself feel better, but in a way I am wanting to feel better. And I thought to myself, supposing all of you actually got yourself into some exercise, your usual exercise clothes, instead of sitting around in your dressing gown and slippers, as you might be if you're quarantined indoors, or just laying around feeling awful. And I thought what we could do is actually have an exercise, a sport, that we could undertake in meditation. I call it meditation. You can call it visualization if you'd rather. And we can actually, by that method, actually feel that we are taking that exercise that we love, because exercise, as we know, also releases these wonderful endorphins. It creates a feeling of well-being within us, which is actually physical. So there's something that connects the mind with the body that we can actually use to our advantage. So what is more, what else is the advantage to doing this kind of exercise? You don't have to warm up, because your body is already warmed up for it, because through your mind you will actually be able to take part without any damage to your physical self. Lisa Long, hi Lisa, there's a runner there, and a runner and a half, marathons even. And funnily enough, I thought to myself, I was never a runner as such. I used to run to train, but I trained for skating. I didn't want to do anything except skate in my whole life. That ice and me were as one, and I know a lot of other skaters who are exactly the same. And at the same time, I thought, well, there's so many people who run for its own sake, as well as for training, grudgingly as I did. And I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if in our mind's eye we could actually all go out together and have a run? And if you don't believe me, please join in and see where it takes you. So I would just like to say that before we actually start, we make our affirmation that everything we do in the name of love and truth and light. We ask for healing for ourselves and for those we love at this time, dear Lord. Amen. There, that was a quick pray. I'm good at those quick prayers, and I'm sure that you are too in this day and age with all the problems that surround us all. Now, we're going to relax. We're going to go on a lovely group exercise. We're not going to be on our own. We're going to know that we are in good company. So you can do this again and again. It's not harmful. So we'll do it now, and then when you've had a chance to sort of get yourself organised, you could always get your running top on, or your running gear, skating gear even. Put your skates on if you've got them, or running shoes, wherever you are, dress for the occasion, so that your mind is telling your body that you're actually ready for this action. And of course the end result is not the time that you take to do it, but the actual feeling of well-being that it will impart to you, and that your body is going to feel better, and therefore by a reverse process, your mind will tell your body will tell your mind. There. So enough of the lectures. And we'll close our eyes. Put all the cares and worries of the day and think to ourselves, wow, we're going to go on a run. And do you know what? We might even run round a big sheet of ice as well, but we'll see if we'll come to that. We'll see what we get. This is a guided meditation, and I will receive information from my inspirers on the other side of life. They will tell me, because they know all of you. All of you have guides, whether you know it or not, whether you're aware or not. and they will be telling my people what's best for you there. So we're now relaxed, and in our mind's eye we see a ball of light in front of us, and that ball of light is going to take us to a place where we will be able to undertake our run there. So instead of a car, we're going to go into this ball of light. In your mind's eye, walk forward into the ball of light, fully kitted up for the sport that you love, and feel it taking you away. And we're going towards, we can see through the ball. We can see that we're going over a landscape. We're going to land right at the edge of a field. There, we've landed. Step out of the ball of light, which will wait for you just like a taxi, a spiritual taxi, and step outside. And all of a sudden, you can see loads of people around, warming up, chatting with each other. Oh, it's wonderful. Wonderful fresh air. The vista is there before you. You can see a pathway. Clearly you can see a pathway all the way round, and you know that it's going to take a little while to cover all that ground, but it's going to be wonderful. And you see people jogging around on the spot, warming up, doing some stretching exercises. Oh dear, it looks wonderful. There's a couple of doggies there, and there are people that they call tail walkers who are chatting in high-vis garments. It's a wonderful sight, and you're part of that. And now you go, collect up, all of you go together to where the run director is going to give you the instructions. Walk towards that, yes, feeling good and happy, healthy, strong. And you hear something or other going on about where you're supposed to be going, but all you know is that you feel good and everybody's there and jostling around, and there's no isolation at all. And then you hear, go to the start, and you all flock to the start line. There's so many of you. It's wonderful. It almost feels like the start of the Gateshead run or something like that. It's so packed with people enjoying themselves. And you can talk to your neighbour. They're switching their watches on and everything. And you hear 3, 2, 1, go. And off you go. All of you go. There you are. You can hear some dogs yapping, barking. As you go along the pathway, you see the grass either side of you. There are no obstacles whatsoever. The path is amazingly flat and smooth. And in fact, it has a little bounce in it. And your shoes feel wonderful and fit you wonderfully well. And lovely spongy feeling under your feet. It gives you a bounce. You don't get that bounce usually. It's a magical bounce. And off you go, and you can feel everybody around you. And there are smiles and waves, and there are marshals along the way as well, waving you on, saying good, well done. On you go. There's somebody there with a photographic machine, taking photographs and videos of the proceedings, just as they always do. On you run and run, and you feel light, you feel good. You don't feel that there's any effort, but you feel your muscles warming up as you go. You feel your leg muscles, your chest is expanding and breathing well. It's wonderful. There you go, running. It's marvellous. And you're going round the first corner. Round you go. There's fields everywhere. And the field that you're running round is just lovely, very lush. And you can even smell the grass. Beautiful. There you go. And you're still running, not out of breath at all. And you seem to have covered a great deal of ground in a very short amount of time. And you're going to be just doing one big lap this morning, just one lap. And soon you can see the home straight, if you like. There you go, running. Everybody's with you. Nobody's faltering. No one is falling behind. It looks as if everybody's going to do a personal best today over the distance that's been laid out. There we go. Oh, it's wonderful. Feel exhilarated. Feel your muscles all tuned up. And now you can see the finishing funnel, and you can see people standing there waving to you, waving you on. You can still hear the dogs barking, and everybody's running towards the finishing funnel. It's a very wide finishing funnel because there are so many of you. And as you go towards it, you feel that spirit of exhilaration and wellness, and there you go, through the funnel. Off you go, through the funnel, and then stop running and just go to a little walk. And then you'll have a little warm down, just a little warm down. And when you've finished that, you look around, and in the distance you can see a big sheet of ice. You haven't actually been able to get onto that, but that's for another time. You can see some people skating on it. It looks very interesting. It's lovely, and some people are having a game with a pink ball, a very bright pink ball, and hockey sticks, but they're field hockey sticks. They're called bandy clubs, and they're doing that. And you can see them in the distance. You can see some people speed skating, which is like running on ice. And interestingly, that's what it's called in Hebrew, is running on ice, running quickly on ice, speed skating. But you finished your run, and this will only be recorded in heaven, but you won't mind because you're feeling good now, and the stress levels have definitely left you. Right, you go back to that ball is waiting for you. Back you go to the ball of light. Step inside, and then feel yourself being lifted along, lifted, and you know that it's taking you home to where you started out from. There. And now you feel yourself being gently lowered onto the ground again. And there you are, you know you're back. Step out of the ball of light and go back to where you started your journey. And when you're back, feel the weight of your body once more. Feel happy, strong. Wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, open your eyes, and now you're back where you were. I hope that you enjoyed that trip, as long as you were able to take it with me. And if you found it a bit difficult, sometimes people do at first, because it means that you have to actually sort of let go of not just preconceived ideas about spiritual matters, but also to let go and trust that something will be better for you. So there you are. And of course I went along with you because that was what I was expected to do. And I was hoping, of course, that we would all go skating, but then that apparently is for another time. And I hope that you feel less stressed, those of you who've taken part. Maybe you'd be able to comment or something, or I know this is a live chat, and say if you've enjoyed yourself, if you felt better, because I think it would be helpful to other people to know that this is some avenue that they could explore to make themselves feel lighter of heart in the midst of all this worry and anxiety that everybody is suffering from. And I hope as well that you'll join me again for another chat. I try and do something every day because I know that people are cheered, and I think that's something that we all have to be mindful of at this time, that we should cheer people. But what I want you also to know is that I am a spiritualist minister, and we believe that there is life after this life, and that there is a spirit dimension to this life, that this is not all there is. And it's wonderfully helpful and uplifting to know that that's the truth, and to be able to take you with me on a little journey like that, which is really to the spiritual side of life, which has such an impact on our physical lives. It's just a blessing for me to be able to do that, and I hope it's a blessing for you. So I'll just leave, as I will, with a little healing prayer, because that's what we all want to do, isn't it? And I'll say, Dear Lord, please bless all our friends with healing and comfort at this time. We ask that all stress and anxiety be taken from them, that you look after all the children and all the animals at this time, and that they should all be healed, dear Lord. Amen. There. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and you've enjoyed the run. I'd be very interested to know people's experiences of that, because I know about mine, because I was there. And Lisa Edelman, I've never run anywhere in my life. That was much better that way. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Tata Rabah. And I just, as I say, I didn't like running when I had to for training, because all I loved was skating. And but sometimes, and in this way, people who have never actually been able to run can actually experience that. And I think that's what's so wonderful about our way of life as a spiritualist. So I wish you a very good day indeed, and I hope that you have more runs like that, and that you feel much better. Whenever you feel sorrowful, whenever you feel the tears coming, whenever you feel panic-stricken, just think, oh, I could go for a run in a spiritual sense, and sit there and do that, because it works. All right. So I'll say God bless you, and wish you all the healing in the world and from heaven above. Bye for now. Bye.